This is the Louie Tee Network.
I'm ready for some football. I don't know about you. Who else could it be but your man Lou? Yeah.
Overtime! So we head to overtime.
Who else could it be but me, your man, Louie Tee? Welcome to Sunday Night Football overtime. Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Dallas Cowboys, huge NFC matchup, playoff implications all over the place in this football game. Cowboys coming into this game, losing for the first time in 12 weeks, the second time to the Giants. So the Giants own the season series. So a loss here would only put the Giants behind the Cowboys in the division by a single game. Also, a loss would keep the number one seed in question and doubt in the NFC. Not only would the Giants be involved in that discussion, the Lions, the Seahawks, all of these teams with 9 wins or more would be in that discussion as well. Throw the Atlanta Falcons into that discussion as well. So you would be opening up a huge can of worms if you're the Cowboys to the number one seed in the NFC with a loss here. A win puts you in the driver's seat, gives you an opportunity to get to 12, distance yourself from the Giants in the division. You're still not out of the neck of the woods yet if you were to get this W, but you would be one step closer to achieving all of your goals, clinching the number one seed and winning the NFC East with a win. If you're the Buccaneers, it's simple. You want in the playoffs, win. You don't need help from anyone. You want to win the division? Sure you do. But even if you don't get the division, you can still get in as a wild card if you just win out. Simple as that. You don't need help from anyone. You don't have to scoreboard watch. Just win. You win this game, and there's a very good chance that you can still come away with the NFC South Division crown. You lose this football game, you're not out of the question as to whether you're getting in as a wild card or winning the division, but it makes both of those goals much tougher. So, big game for both teams involved. Buccaneers riding a 5-game winning streak coming into this game. As I just mentioned, Cowboys losing for the first time in over 3 months. So this was a big game. Dak Prescott, is he ready for the challenge? Do we need to go to Romo? Those are all the questions that Cowboys fans had been asking and all the media had been conjuring up. And again, I don't feed into all of that nonsense. I was actually appalled last week when someone asked me the Romo question and I just blew it off because, are you serious? I actually had Cowboys fans asking me nonsense last week. Oh, is it time to go to Romo? Are you kidding me? Are you smoking or what? I mean, seriously. Guy wins you 11 straight and you want to bail after one L? I don't know where that's coming from, but miss me with that, please. So, a big bounce back game for Dak Prescott and the Cowboys offense against a good Bucs defense. And the tables were turned on the Bucs in this game, and we'll talk about all those things and more in the breakdown of this game. But first, if you haven't already done so, subscribe to the Louie Tee Network for more great content in 2016 and beyond. We're changing the game over here. I want you to help us do that by simply subscribing to the Louie Tee Network on YouTube. Also, I'm on Twitter. @InTheLabRoom is the Twitter handle. Go ahead, follow me on Twitter, and I'm also on Facebook. In the Lab Room is the Facebook page. All of my social media platforms right there in the screen above, scrolling upward, so you can't miss any of them. Go ahead and handle your business. Like, follow, and most importantly, subscribe to the Louie Tee Network on YouTube. That being said, let's jump into this breakdown. We're going to start with the Dallas Cowboys and their side of things in this ball game, getting the win 26-20 on Sunday Night Football over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Cowboys got off to a sort of a rocky start in this game. They give up the Buccaneers a field goal early, and the penalties were the issue, and we saw that last week. We saw the penalties creep up, bite the Cowboys. Last week, we saw the penalties creep up and bite the Cowboys the week previous when they struggled offensively versus the Minnesota Vikings. This has been something that the Cowboys of late have been a little bit sloppy in, and that's penalties. And they've been killing drives. And early on, a penalty on Vince Mailey really hurt the Cowboys' opening drive. Had to settle for a Dan Bailey field goal. He was not able to convert from 56 yards out. So right there, you see the penalties impacting the game for the Cowboys. They would have some other big penalties in this game. One on Doug Free negating a big gain that would have set the Cowboys up in a position to score a touchdown. Instead, they had to settle for another Dan Bailey field goal attempt. Also, you had a touchdown that late in the ball game would have put the Cowboys up 7, and with that field goal that they later would tack on, would have put this game out of reach instead of having to settle for a field goal, which then allowed the Buccaneers to hang around in this game and have a shot to still win with the touchdown and the extra point. So that was a big holding penalty on Tyron Smith late in the ball game, negating a touchdown by Lance Dunbar on a beautifully ran and executed route by Dunbar, and an even better throw by Dak Prescott in stride to allow him to get in the end zone and run away from that linebacker in man-to-man coverage. So Cowboys penalties, we've seen this over the last 3 weeks, hindering them in their success, but they were able to overcome it. Unlike last week against the Giants, they were able to overcome mistakes. Last week, when they made mistakes, when Dak Prescott threw an interception, when they weren't able to overcome that, Jason Witten fumbles in this game, Cowboys overcome that mistake. They win the turnover battle, which was huge, 4-1. 2 of those turnovers, you really don't pay them much attention. The pick late and the pick before half by Byron Jones. Those 2 picks, you throw them out. But the other two turnovers were huge in this game. The interception by Jeff Heath was huge. And the first turnover of the game was monumental for the Cowboys. It was a 3-3 game. You get the sack. Ball goes into the air as Winston's arm is hit by McClain. Ball goes up into the air. It's recovered by the Cowboys. That leads to a touchdown, their first of the game. Ezekiel Elliott gets in, jumps into the barrel, the Salvation Army barrel, and I thought it was funny. I loved it. I hated the fact that he got a penalty for it, but you know how it is. NFL stands for No Fun League. You know how that goes. And so he was penalized for it. Shouldn't have been, but it is what it is. In any event, that gave them the 10-3 lead. And like I said, turnovers were huge. They flipped the script on the Buccaneers, who during this winning streak were winning the turnover battle. They were taking care of the football, and they were the ones creating the turnovers. In this game, they were the ones creating opportunities, were the Cowboys. And the Buccaneers were the ones giving the football away in this game, and it cost them very dearly. So the Cowboys creating turnovers and taking advantage of those opportunities in this game. Dak Prescott was magnificent. 32 of 36 for 200 and some change yards. You're talking about a guy that threw it from an over 87% clip in this game, 85% or so, something like that. Only 4 incompletions. Are you kidding me? If that's not good enough, if you still want Tony Romo in, by all means, be my guest, knock yourself out. But this young man is unflappable. He's unfazed by the media attention, the negativity, all of the things that have come his way this season when the Cowboys haven't had success, which hasn't been often, which is why a lot of people wanted to see, including myself, how he responded to all of the negativity from the past week, because there hasn't been much of this season. And I thought he responded with what exactly I thought he was going to respond with, which was a resolve and a measure of maturity, calmness, and poise that is light years beyond his actual status in this league as a rookie. And so he came out, blazed the Buccaneers, and again, give credit to that Cowboys offensive line for doing what it is they do week in, week out, which is protect and open up rushing lanes. Ezekiel Elliott, huge game for him, 23 carries, well over 140 yards. Another massive game for the NFL's leading rusher, and he was huge in the Cowboys winning this game as well. But I think the story here has to be the Cowboys defense, because we know the Cowboys offense has been struggling, but the defense has been playing very well. They were without 2 of their better defensive linemen in this game, and it didn't matter. They went out and they played ball, forced 4 turnovers, like I mentioned before, got the stops late in the ball game when it was critical. They did have a little bit of a slip up in the third quarter when they gave up some points there. If I'm not mistaken, the Buccaneers scored 17 or 14, something along those lines in the third quarter. The touchdown to Humphreys, that should have been picked off if you ask me. I need Brandon Carr to pick that off. If I'm a Cowboys fan, it went right through his hands into the waiting arms of Adam Humphreys, and they get a touchdown there. And talk about something that I thought the Buccaneers should have done offensively in the fourth quarter that they didn't, that they had success with in the third quarter when we get to the Buccaneers. But I thought the defense for the Cowboys stepped up, and I think the guy that stepped up in the fourth quarter and in the latter stages of the third was Nate Irving. I mean, we've seen this from him before in the Green Bay game when he took over. What did he force? 3 or 4 fumbles in that game, wreaked havoc on Aaron Rodgers en route to that victory on the road versus the Packers. He took over this game late. They could not block him. He took Gosher chairless to school, bull rushed him, used the hump move, created and originated by Reggie White, threw him on the ground. You name it, he did it. He forced Jameis Winston into some bad throws, including the interception where he got a piece of Winston's elbow, which didn't allow him to follow through. Ball sails right into the waiting arms of Heath, and that turned into a field goal. So huge plays down the stretch by David Irving. He was massive in this football game. And like I said, the defense for the Cowboys stepped up when they needed them the most. They got it done. And so this was an all-around team effort. Dan Bailey uncharacteristically misses 2 field goals, one from 56. You can understand that. Didn't have the distance, didn't have quite the distance you're looking for there. But the 52-yarder, that's well within his wheelhouse, and he misses that one. But in typical Dan Bailey fashion, comes back and bangs home 3 field goals to help the Cowboys get it done in this game. Or excuse me, I think he actually hit 4 field goals when it was all said and done. 2 touchdowns, 4 field goals gets you 26. So he was a guy that continued to help this Cowboys football team out, making some plays. So Cowboys get it done again, despite leaving points on the scoreboard with some huge penalties. If they can eliminate those penalties and those self-inflicted wounds there, this might not be as close a ball game. Okay, you're talking about the Lance Dunbar touchdown being negated by a holding penalty by Tyron Smith. You're talking about a nice game by Ezekiel Elliott being called back due to a penalty on Doug Free. You're talking about opportunities wasted by the Cowboys and having to settle for field goals in some situations where maybe they come away with touchdowns if they don't have the penalties. Early on in this game, the Cowboys weren't being stopped on the offensive side of football by the Buccaneers defense. They were being stopped by their own misfortunes that they were doing themselves with penalties and mistakes. So it was a really well-played game by the Cowboys, aside from the 1 fumble by Witten and the penalties that hurt them. I think they almost totaled 100 yards worth of penalties in this game. Got to be better than that if you're the Cowboys, but nonetheless, they get it done 26-20, win the football game, go to 12-2, and put themselves in a really good position to lock everything up that they could ask for this season in terms of the regular season in week number 16 on Monday night versus the Detroit Lions. Let's go to the Buccaneers side of things in this game. Really frustrating football game for them if you're a Buccaneers fan, because you had opportunities in this game. You made a ton of mistakes. You had a hell of a third quarter. You take the lead 20-17. Start the game off a little slow, but you do get a field goal early on, take the lead 3-0. But from that point on, you were dominated, especially in the second quarter. Cowboys scored 17 points unanswered in that second quarter. Take a big lead on you, 17-3 at one point. You do get a field goal, make it 17-6. And then you come out in the second half, and I think that's where you start to see some things look up for you. You hate the fact that you give up the fumble. Jameis Winston gets his elbow hit as he's trying to throw the football, leads to a Cowboys touchdown. You hate the fact that you're not able to get stops in some crucial situations and you give up some scores. But you score a touchdown to come out of the gate in the second half. That play by Winston to get out of the pocket, and there were some elusive plays. That one play in the first half where he looks like he's going to be sacked. He's dead to right. He avoids 3 rushers somehow, some way, just misses a floater to Charles Sims out of the backfield. That's Jameis Winston at his best right there. Creating when nothing's there, seemingly a play where he should be sacked, doesn't get sacked, and kind of created on that same kind of magic on that touchdown pass, getting out of the pocket, throwing across his body. Again, should have been picked off by Brandon Carr, not picked off, and into the waiting arms of Adam Humphries for their first touchdown of the ball game, which cut it to 17-13. And then they used something that I thought was extremely successful that allowed them to score their next touchdown and take the lead 20-17, and that was the hurry up. And it wasn't necessarily a constant hurry up, but it was getting to the line of scrimmage quickly, not allowing the Cowboys to substitute, getting your guys set up at the line, not really huddling for very long, changing the tempo in the pace. Cowboys struggled in that realm. If I'm the Buccaneers, I'm doing that in the fourth quarter as well. Winston excelled in that hurry-up, kind of muddle-huddle offense where they sped the tempo up. They get down the field. They get into the end zone. Beautifully thrown football in between 2 Cowboys defenders to Cameron Brate. And as my man Reese says, make America Brate again. I love Cameron Brate, so I like that saying. Let's make America Brate again. And Cameron Brate, I've been talking about Cameron Brate since the beginning of training camp. And really the preseason, I saw this guy and I'm like, man, I like this guy. And he's taken off this season, become one of Jameis Winston's favorite targets, along with Mike Evans. And so that's a great throw in between 2 defenders. And just like that, the Buccaneers have their first lead since 3-0 in this game, 20-17. And they didn't go back to that hurry up. And I understand that in order to run a little bit of tempo, you got to pick up a first down. They never really got into a rhythm in the fourth quarter, but I would have loved to have seen them change up the pace a little bit in the game. I thought they were a little sluggish, and they allowed the Cowboys to dictate pace and tempo in the fourth quarter instead of them. When they had the success in the third quarter, I thought they changed up the pace, and they didn't do that again. And I didn't understand why not go back to that. You had success with it. Go back to running a little bit of that no-huddle, muddle huddle offense where you can get in and out of the huddle. If you're going to huddle, get up to the line of scrimmage quickly, get everybody where they need to be lining up-wise, get the play call in quickly. Do that. The Cowboys struggled defending that. Instead of lining up, getting them to sub in and out, allowing them to stay fresh, which I thought hurt the Buccaneers in the fourth quarter as the Cowboys were able to field goal them to death in the fourth quarter, tie the game, take the lead, and put another field goal on the scoreboard to go up 6 and make it tough on the Buccaneers. They had opportunities late, though. Had the football with the chance down 23-20. Had the football with a chance down 26-20. And they weren't able to make anything happen. Actually had the football down 26-20 twice. Went 3 and out once after the huge stop by the defense to force the Cowboys to kick a field goal. They get a first down there. Most likely this game is done. Instead, they stop the Cowboys, force them to kick a field goal. They get the football back with about 4 minutes left. Go 3 and out. Cowboys get it back. They run off a lot of clock, force the Buccaneers to use their remaining timeouts. The Buccaneers get it back with 1:43 seconds left, but unable to score as Winston throws his 3rd and final interception of the night to Orlando Scandrick on a 4th down to end the football game. So Buccaneers had opportunities in this football game. They hung tough. Looked like they were going to get blown out at one point, down 17-3, but they persevered, hung in, and actually took the lead in the third quarter before really running out of gas offensively and did nothing in the fourth quarter, allowing the Cowboys to not only catch them and tie them in this game, but take the lead and win 26-20. So with the win, the Cowboys move to 12-2 on the season, get one step closer to clinching the NFC East, get another step closer to clinching the number 1 seed in the NFC with this win. All of those things will be achieved with a W next Monday night versus the Detroit Lions. As for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, as of right now, they're still in the playoffs at 8-6. pending the outcome of Monday Night Football. Redskins at home versus the Carolina Panthers. Not often you're going to have a Buccaneers fan cheering for the Carolina Panthers, but that's exactly what they'll be doing come Monday night, as they'll look for the Panthers to go to FedEx and serve up an L to the Washington Redskins and keep them in the playoffs at 8-6. A win by the Redskins would then make the Buccaneers the 7th seed, which is a seed outside of the playoffs, and the Redskins would then be your 6th seed once again. A loss by the Redskins and the Buccaneers would hold on to the 6th seed in the NFC playoffs temporarily, and obviously they would have to win the remainder games to stay in that spot. Now, what this does to their NFC South hopes in terms of winning that division, it's a big blow to them, as the Falcons took care of business as they were supposed to versus the 49ers, going to 9-5. Again, remember, Buccaneers don't hold the tiebreaker over the Atlanta Falcons, so they need to win games, especially ones inside the conference. This loss cripples them in their pursuit of the division. Now they need the Falcons to drop their final 2 games, and they have to win their final 2 in order to win the division and steal it away from the Atlanta Falcons. So a lot they're asking for to get that done. They probably would be a lot safer just trying to get this wild card, but again, now they need help in order to get that done. They've taken the outcome of their season out of their hands, as now they need help in order to get into the postseason. They need a loss on Monday night by the Redskins in order to stay where they are and control the outcome of their season. So we'll see what happens there. Let's get to some of your comments here, as the Buccaneers fell short 26-20 in this ball game. My man Reese says, came up short, Lou. We're just not ready for this stage yet. Still like how we fought and what we're building, eating my humble pie as we speak. No need to be ashamed about this when your guys competed like hell in this game. Had opportunities, just didn't take advantage. And like you said, they're not quite ready for the stage yet, but I didn't think the stage was too big for them. In the first half, you kind of felt that way. You're like, maybe they're not ready. You heard Rodney Harrison say at halftime, maybe they're not ready for this stage yet. They came out in the second half and showed that this stage wasn't too big for them. The lights weren't too bright. They just weren't good enough to get the job done tonight. Too many mistakes on their part. But again, they fought, like you said. They gave it a run, and they have nothing to be ashamed of. This is a dangerous Buccaneers team still at 8-6. And if things fall their way, they're still going to be a team that could get into the playoffs. First name, last name says, what did you think about David Irving tonight? He looked like a monster out there. We've seen this from him before. I made mention of this earlier, the game against Green Bay, where he was a man possessed, sort of like in the fourth quarter of this game. We've seen this guy make plays, and I love his length. If you look at him, he's built in a way that lends itself to him being a very tough player to block. He's got long arms, long legs, and he uses that leverage well to get up underneath the tackle, drive them back, uses his arms well to extend them, to disengage from a tackle, get to the quarterback. So he's a guy that can be very disruptive. We saw him win with inside moves. We saw him win with outside moves. We saw him win with power. We saw him win with a number of different techniques. We saw him use his length to deflect a football. We saw him use his length to bother Jameis Winston on a pass that was intercepted. We saw David Irving do a lot of things, Nate Irving do a lot of things. Is it Nate or David? In any event, we saw him do a lot of things tonight that really impacted this game. And he's got potential. And I think the Cowboys understand that, and we saw a lot of it tonight. And we're going to see a lot more of this kid because he's got talent. There's no denying that. And it was on full display tonight when the Cowboys needed him the most. Enrique Valencia says, man, I'm disappointed in Jameis Winston. He wasted a great opportunity to show everyone that he has arrived. Horrible accuracy did him in. He wasn't that bad tonight. Again, there was a lot of pressure on him, a ton of pressure. Gasha Cherilis is no one starting right tackle in this league, and not having DeMar Dotson out there hurt them tonight, especially in the fourth quarter when pressure was on Jameis the most. And there are guys open. And no, he wasn't accurate, but a lot of the reason why he wasn't accurate was because of the lack of time in the pocket and the pressure being applied to him as he was trying to get rid of the football. On a non-related note, tried to save you on that Brock train, Louie T, but you didn't want to be saved. Yeah, that's that Brock train went off the tracks and got into a nasty accident today as he was benched, and 2 more interceptions for him, and Tom Savage had to come in and save the game for the Houston Texans. So I got to watch the game, obviously, to see what exactly happened, but it's not looking good for Brock out there, man. And I feel bad for him, but I can't feel but so bad for him. He did it to himself. DG Production says, this gives the Falcons a nice cushion. Don't think we needed it, but it does put me at ease. I love hearing Falcons fans talk about how, this is a great cushion for them and this, that, and the third. And I'm like, my sister felt the same way. She wanted to win. And I get it. I understand that you want that cushion, but you want your team to just go out and perform. If your Falcons win, whether the Buccaneers win or not, it didn't matter. It was irrelevant. And I said that earlier when I broke down the Falcons game. It doesn't really matter what they do. As long as you keep winning, if you're the Falcons, it doesn't matter what the Bucs do moving forward. So, but I get it. I understand. Put you at ease just in case you want to slip up on the road versus Carolina next week. You got that ace in your back pocket, and it's called a Buccaneers loss on Sunday night to the Dallas Cowboys. So I get it. Aiden Wynn says, Bucs failed to win this game, which means they cannot compete with us Falcons. Come at me, Buck fans. What was the thing that blew it for the Bucs? The turnovers were the huge was probably the biggest undoing of them tonight. That turnover by Winston early in the game led to a Cowboys touchdown when the Cowboys were kind of struggling offensively, with the penalties and things of that nature. Couldn't get out of their own way. It's 3-3, and Winston gets hit on the arm. Ball goes up in the air, and the Cowboys recover in Bucs territory, and they take that turnover and they turn it into points. Touchdown. You get another turnover by Winston later in the ball game. Jeff Heath picks him off late. They get the field goal. That's 10 points off of 2 Bucs turnovers. Remember, they have 4 total in this game, but the other 2 are outliers. The one before the half by Byron Jones and the one late in the game when you're desperate on 4th and 12 to Orlando Scandrick. Those ones don't really register for me. The 2 big ones led to 10 points. You lose the game by 6. That's where this game was lost for me with the Bucs. Again, the Bucs on this win streak, they've taken care of the football and they forced turnovers. Tonight, the shoe was on the other foot. They gave the football away. They did not create a lot of opportunities. They did force the one fumble of Jason Witten. And what did they do with that fumble? They went 3 and out and gave it right back to the Cowboys while they had the football in Cowboys territory. I put that one on the screen, and Collinsworth did a great job of illustrating. I actually was talking to my dad because when that play actually was transgressing, I told my dad, I said, wow, they got him. I said, wow. And it looked, because the Cowboys looked like they came on a little bit of a blitz. You got 2 blockers out there. Neither one of them blocked. Gosher Charles missed Byron Jones, and he was the one that made the tackle. They blocked. There is space and opportunity out there for Charles Sims to make a big play there, and those are the ones you want back if you're the Buccaneers. But, again, they didn't make the plays tonight. Cowboys did. Those turnovers, to me, were the biggest difference in this game. Rarely even, my man Reese says, it's plain and simple, Lou. Jameis needs more weapons. We need to add another wide receiver and another running back. Our deficiencies just caught up with us. And I've already said that numerous times. You need another receiver. There's not enough help out there. Cameron Brake does a great job over the middle of the field. So does Mike Evans. But there's no other receiver that scares you. Shepard isn't going to scare anyone. Adam Humphries is solid, but he's not a game changer. You need another guy out there to take some of the attention away from Mike Evans. And that guy just doesn't exist right now. And so that's a problem for the Buccaneers outside of Brake and Mike Evans. Archangel says, I know this is a tad bit off subject, but I need your boy R. Kelly to go into tomorrow night. I'm down 16 in the semi-championship playoffs in fantasy. Hey, man, I'm going to tell him that you need him to look out for you. I see what he can do for you, man. Hopefully he goes off tomorrow and it benefits the Redskins in a major way. Archangel says, I'm trying to get that fantasy championship and get this money. So come on, R. Kelly. hopefully he'll be able to bump and grind you to a championship, man. Hopefully that is, in fact, the case. DG Production says, is this your last breakdown tonight? Probably not. I'm going to try to get 2 more in if I can. We'll see what happens. Got a crazy day on Monday, so it'd be to my benefit if I could get at least 1, possibly 2 done tonight. Set me up for a nice, easy day tomorrow because I will need that in terms of my time management. So we'll see what happens. Archangel says, glad the Bucs lost now. All we got to do is just handle our business. And if the Hawks lose, possibly the Cards in a shocker, we win out. We're talking about a first-round bye and at home. Again, I would not set my sights on that because the Cardinals play the Seahawks play the Cardinals at home, and then they go to San Francisco in Week 17. Stranger things have happened, but they're supposed to win both of those games. I expect them to win both of those games, but you just never know, like you said. So, again, in order to take advantage of any slip-up by any team, Bucs, Lions, or Seahawks, you need to win. So that's the first order of business for your Falcons is just win. You got some toughies in the division coming up, family business. You need to worry about these family members you got coming up trying to cause problems before you worry about what anybody else is doing. Take care of your business and then let the chips fall where they may. And if you can get an upset win somewhere else, that'd be great. That would be beneficial to your boys. But the first order of business is to handle family business. Keep the family ordeal in order if you are the Atlanta Falcons. Got 2 big ones in the division coming up. Aiden Wynn says, is it just me or does Jameis need more weapons, a O-line, and a better D? The defense is fine. They could upgrade a couple of positions, but the defense isn't really the issue. They got run on tonight, which you didn't expect because they've been so good against it. But this is the Cowboys offensive line we're talking about, and that's Ezekiel Elliott we're talking about. So you knew that they had a chance to do that tonight. But the O-line, there are a couple of guys that again, Gosher Charles on the right side isn't supposed to be starting. That's number 1. So, and he was really the only guy really giving up some serious pressure in this game. So, you could always use an upgrade maybe. What that says and speaks to is the lack of depth. If Gosher Charles is coming in at right tackle and struggling like that, that means you need to upgrade the depth on your roster. RG3 hashtag smoking that 3 hashtag 1000 says, this is the Redskins' time to strike. Indeed. This is what they were looking for. This is the opportunity that they need. Now they need to take full advantage of it. Rarely even says, honestly, do you think we still have a solid shot at the playoffs? Thought we could afford another loss. Sure you do. If the Redskins don't get it done here on Monday night, you're right back in the playoffs. If the Redskins slip up the following week versus the Bears, and you win, you're right back in the playoffs. Look, by no means are your playoff hopes dashed because of this loss. Okay? All it means is you don't control your destiny as of right now. You don't control the outcome of your season. I don't want to say destiny because destiny is already pre-planned. You don't control the outcome of your season now by yourself. You need help now. If you win out and you get a loss by the Redskins, then you're back in. So, again, it's not like the season went to hell in a handbasket after this loss. You just made it tougher on yourself. Your path to the playoffs just got a little bit dicey and a little bit more rocky. Okay, that road not as smoothly paved as it was before to get to the postseason. You're going to need a little bit of help. It's going to have to stop and ask for directions. Your GPS was working just fine. You knew where you had to go and what you had to do to get to the postseason. And then you ran out of juice. You ran out of battery. And now you got to figure it out on your own. So now you got to stop for directions. You need help. And now you got to have some teams help you out. See what happens. DG Production says, no, Tampa has a decent defense, but yeah, they could use another guy alongside Mike Evans. He tends to lock onto him like how Matty Ice used to do to Julio. And that's what happens when you only have one guy that you trust at the receiver position. Again, when you have a tight end like Cameron Brate, it does take a little bit of pressure off. But again, you need another receiver out there that scares the opposition. And right now, the Buccaneers simply don't have that guy on their football team. Archangel says, I'm still yelling out all by my goddamn self, Matty Ice for MVP. The boys determined regardless of their Chiefs game. He's not going to get it. I'm sorry to tell you that. But that Chiefs game was a huge blow to his MVP run. So was the Eagles game. It wasn't just the Chiefs game. It was the Eagles game on the road. It was the Chiefs game. Those hurt him big time. It is what it is. You've got too many other guys out there playing at a high level. Brady, of course. You've got Derek Carr. Stafford took a little bit of a step back with the finger injury, but I just don't see Matt Ryan getting it done. He may be in the discussion again, but I don't see him getting it done now. Archangel says, so what's your predictions for R. Kelly in tomorrow's game? About how many yards and will he score a TD or two? Come on, Lou, tell me something good. I can't tell you. I don't know what the game plan is. Last time, I will tell you this. Last time we were on primetime television in a big spot like this, he went off for 142 yards or 137 yards and 3 touchdowns. So hopefully there's a little bit of that in there for you. But that was against the Green Bay Packers defense that was struggling. This is a different animal than the Carolina Panthers. So hard for me to say. Are they going to dedicate themselves to the run like they did the last time we were on primetime? Because the last couple of games, this man hasn't cracked 20 carries. It's been 17. It's been 16. It's been 13. It's been, 16. So he's not getting the amount of touches that you would like. But if we have success and we have the football enough, maybe there's some balance in there and he's able to tote the rock 23 times like he did against Green Bay for a huge amount of yards and 3 touchdowns. That'd be nice. That means we're scoring points. And if we score that many points, we're going to win this football game. And that's what we're looking to do. Archangel says, how are you feeling about your Skins' chances of making the playoffs now? I feel great. I feel like this is a tough one coming up against Carolina. I'm a little uneasy about it. I feel like it's the toughest game we have remaining on the schedule because I think by the time we get to Week 17 versus the Giants, they're not going to have anything to play for. The seeding will pretty much be locked up for them. They'll know that they're the 5th seed in the NFC and they can't change their status, so they won't have anything to play for. So I think the Bears game is going to be tough. Cold in Chicago. Obviously, they're playing a lot better, but we should win that game. This is the one that scares me the most against a Panthers team that hasn't given up. They have Cam Newton. They're tough out. They're probably going to have Luke Kuechly back from injury. They scare the hell out of me, but if we can win this game, I think we can run the table and get to 10-5-1, and that should be good enough to get us in the postseason. So really love our chances right now. But again, like I've been telling you, got to win games. It doesn't matter how I feel. Doesn't matter what anyone else is doing. We got a chance to control the outcome of our season now with the Bucs loss. We got to go out and win. Seize this opportunity. Don't let it go to waste. See what these guys do. They know what's at stake tomorrow. They got to go out and get it done. Archangel says, or Sean Mack says, my man Zeke, Carr, and Brady are my 3 MVP finalists as of now. Who are yours? Those are my exact guys as well. Hate the fact that Brady has crept into this thing. Would have loved to have replaced him with somebody like a Stafford or someone else. But fact of the matter is, Brady has only lost once since coming back from the suspension, which was hogwash. And he's played exceptionally well in typical Tom Brady fashion. Has led his team to some big victories this season. Haven't beaten anybody of note for the most part. But the Steelers game, no Roethlisberger in that game. So this was their first real true test against the Ravens. It was a solid game. They did what they needed to do there. But this one on the road against Denver was huge. And he went out. And it wasn't pretty, but he went out and got it done. So Brady, Carr, and Ezekiel Elliott right now. David Johnson, don't forget him. Throw him in there as well. Those are the guys that I look at as serious MVP candidates this season. Archangel says, damn, the TD to Dunbar would have helped me in Fantasy League had it not been for that damn blasted penalty. Man, I was so pissed. You know how it goes, man. That's football, man. That's the nature of the beast. Sean Mack says, the Bucs had 4 turnovers and almost still won this game. Show how far this team has come. What do you believe are the Bucs' ceiling? Basically, this is a dangerous team this year, but I've said this before, and I don't know how true this is, but I still think they're a year away. But I've been saying the same thing about the Titans, and look at what they're doing, man. I cannot wait to watch that game. I was so wrong. I'm so impressed with the Titans. I want them to make the playoffs now. When you beat Denver one week and turn around and go on the road and beat Kansas City the next week, you deserve to be in the playoffs. Like, they're not They're not eking by the Jacksonville Jaguars at home. They're going out on the road and beating teams. Like, this is impressive, man. That blew my mind. That was the game that blew my mind for today, was the Tennessee Titans going on the road and shocking the Kansas City Chiefs 19-17. So the Bucs, they have a high ceiling, okay? It's a young football team with some talented players and some good spots. Love their linebackers. I've already talked about them, throughout the course of the season, and Quan Alexander and Levante David. I think they got something at the cornerback position with Vernon Hargraves. Got some young guys back there in the secondary. We'll see how they mature. But you get a little bit of pressure with Noah Spence. And I thought the defensive line actually did a great job of getting pressure with 4 at times in this game. Obviously, it didn't create results, as Dak Prescott was 32 or 36. But to just rush 4 and get pressure like they were early in the game when the Cowboys weren't getting anything done offensively, that's impressive. They've got some stuff. Offensively, the offensive line isn't that bad. They could use some upgrades, though, because the running game, I think that's the one thing that they're really struggling at right now, is in the run game. They don't get enough out of that. And right now, Jameis is having to do too much offensively because of the lack of run game. So that's something I'd like to see them improve upon. But nonetheless, Sean Mack says, with the first pick in the 2017 NFL Draft, the Cleveland Browns select a effing new owner. LOL. Sorry you can't get those in the draft, my man. Reese says, I think we need O-line help, Lou. Our guards are fine, but our tackles are a sieve. I know that you've been struggling with Donovan on the left side. And, yeah, the right side isn't something to be too proud of either. Look, you might have to break down and spend the first-round pick on a tackle, frankly. You tried to get away with a second-round tackle in Donovan Smith. Hasn't worked out the way you wanted it to. And so maybe he's better off on the right side. Maybe you could get away with a Lions operation like what they did with Riley Reef. They draft a first-round tackle out of Ohio State this past year, and Taylor Decker comes in, fixes the left side, and because he's so good, they move Riley Reef over to right tackle, and he's been a much better right tackle than he was left. And now all of a sudden your tackle problem is fixed with one guy. So maybe that's what I never thought Donovan Smith was a left tackle at this level. I told you I thought he was a right tackle, and they put him at left, and they were hoping that he would pan out. I don't think he's good enough over there, but maybe you can slide him over to right tackle and get away with that. So maybe that's one of those one player fixes 2 positions type of picks, possibly in the upcoming draft. Archangel says, I see we got a woman in here, Miss Blackstorm. Got to be a Louie T live first. Well, at least the first time I've seen it. Ninja, we made it. I don't know what you're talking about, but I'm going to take your word for it on that one. Rarely even says, it was fun to talk some smack, though, at least for a little while. And your boys were backing it up, man. So they were getting it done for you. Reese says, Lou, who would win in a game, the 08 Lions or the 2016 Browns? That's tough. Neither one of those teams had a good quarterback. I probably would take the Browns. That Lion team was really funky, man. I mean, I know the Browns stink, but they've been competitive this year. And I'm pretty sure the 08 Lions had some competitive games in there. They just were so lowly, though. Like, the Browns, I don't know. I just feel like they've been mismanaged throughout the course of this season. If they would have allowed my man from USC to just play, Cody Kessler, I think they would have won a game by now. Like, I didn't understand why Hugh Jackson I don't know. I'd take the Browns, though. That's my opinion. But anyway, Blackbird Blitz says, now what were you saying about the Redskins having the best offense in the NFL? 2 weeks ago without Julio, 1 week without Sanu, 2 weeks without with a 40 burger. Yeah, I still stand by my statement. Redskins haven't been healthy either. And the only difference right now is that the Falcons score points and the Redskins don't in the red zone. Falcons have a much better running game than the Redskins do. And that's a fact. And that's what carried them today, was that running game. Devontae Freeman, 3 touchdowns on the ground. The Redskins just have a problem getting in the end zone. But If you're talking about personnel, the Redskins' offensive line, to me, is better than the Falcons' offensive line, at least from a pass blocking perspective. I don't know about run blocking. But you look at the personnel, I take the Redskins over the Falcons' personnel every day of the week. Because, like I said, you got Julio, and he's better than any one receiver I have, but I can take two of my guys and equal him and still have enough to go around. So, like I said, I take the Redskins' offense every day of the week over the Falcons' offense. But look, you're comparing two big-time offenses in this league right now. So, I mean, it's not like I'm taking the Redskins' offense and the Redskins isn't a juggernaut offense. They're the best offense statistically in a bunch of categories, but the one that matters the most is the one that they're struggling at, and that's the one you got to see. Can you score points? You're not going to win games in this league if you don't score enough points. DG Production says, go ahead and get that Jags game out of the way, man. But that's the thing. It might put me to sleep. It's late at night. I need to watch something that's going to keep my attention. So I'm going to see. Argenis Luguardo says, this game proved that the Giants defense was superior squad to the Bucs defense. Giants Nation, stand up. Look, that Giants defense is filthy right now. No doubt about it. Bossaholic says, Dak taking them haters off, or shaking them haters off. Indeed, he is. Disco Jump Rope says, what's the best way to win against the Cowboys? The blueprint was set last week by the New York Giants. But again, everyone doesn't have the type of secondary that the Giants have. Everyone doesn't have the ability to slow down Zeke Elliott. Everybody can't blitz and play man-to-man across the board and get it done like the Giants did last week, which is what I said. But in order to slow the Cowboys down, you got to slow down their rushing attack, which the Giants did in the second half last week. And you got to get after Dak. You got to be able to blitz and not let him be comfortable. When the Bucs were able to blitz and get to him, they got to him. They flustered him a little bit. But like I said, not everybody can do that. If you blitz and you don't have the coverage on the back end, you're going to pay for it. Captain Spartan 04 says, how much more are they going to shove the Cowboys down our throats? How much longer are they going to be on primetime? I'm literally sick of seeing them every night, it feels like. Look, they're America's team. I told you that already. And when they're good, it's better for the league, and they're going to force them down your throat. So you're going to have to take another primetime Cowboys game next week, Monday night versus the Lions. Yes, I know it's been 5 straight weeks of Cowboys on primetime television. Thanksgiving, then Thursday night versus the Vikings, then Sunday night versus the Giants, now Sunday again versus the Bucs, and now Monday versus the Lions. But it's what you're going to get when the Cowboys are good. Deal with it. And now, see what else we got. Sean Mack says, that might be the only team my Browns could beat, LOL. Yeah, I think you could take those boys, man. Bossaholic says, between Atlanta, Washington, Tampa Bay, who has the best chance to beat Dallas? Any of those teams could beat the Cowboys, honestly. I think the team with the best shot probably would be the Falcons, though, because they can score on that Cowboys defense, and I think their defense is athletic enough to cause some problems there. But, again, it's all about matchups and how that Falcons defense would hold up against that Cowboys offensive attack. And I don't think that would be a favorable matchup for the Falcons either. Captain Spartan 04, we all know who truly has the best offense. Pittsburgh, we just need Bryant, of course. Well, he's not coming back, so you guys don't apply right now. Archangel says, we were deep at receiver in Atlanta, though. Lou, Falcons have too many weapons at wide receiver. We spread the ball this year. That's cool. You got weapons, but they're not better than the weapons that the Redskins have, which is my point. But you got some stuff out there, man. It's fun to watch. Matt Ryan spread it around, and these guys go out and make plays. I love what Taylor Gabriel has brought to the table this year. Aldrick Robinson played well today. You got guys that are making plays. That's good to see. Rarely even says, Lou, Gus Bradley flew back to Jacksonville with the team after being fired. Awkward. Well, how else was he supposed to get there, man? Like, don't make me catch my own plane there. You know what I mean? I still want to fly back. I got to get my stuff, right? So, I mean, yeah, it's awkward, but also gave him a chance to address the team, let them know what was good, and, share your goodbyes with everybody. So, DG Production says, nah, do the Jags. I got a feeling Jalen Ramsey will be on the rookie wall this week. Okay, we'll check that out. Archangel says, do you think wide receiver core better than the Falcons? Now, come on, Lou. Come on, man. Come on, son. Yeah, I do. I'm not going to say I've done this before, so I'm not going to sit here and do it again. But Captain Spartan 04 says, but I don't want to watch them, saying in a little but I don't want to watch them. I know, man. Look, you got to suck it up. We're almost at the finish line, man. So you got to relax. You got to take it a couple more weeks. Chris Deaver says, I was jamming. Hashtag we done boys all the way home, LOL. Hashtag 12 and 2. Bossaholic says, get some sleep, LOL. I'm going to try, man, but this is the thing. I got a crazy day tomorrow, so sleep is not the answer right now. I can get sleep later on in the week. Sleep is not in the cards for the night. So with that being said, Cowboys get it done. 26-20. Get it done. To me, on the defensive side of the football, forcing 4 turnovers of the Buccaneers, getting some crucial stops down the stretch, and getting it done. When they had to have it, they got it in this game, whether it was a defensive stop, whether it was points from the offense. They were able to grind this one out and win, go to 12 and 2 on the season, made the plays when they had to be made, get it done, go to 12 and 2, and keep a stranglehold on the NFC East, keep the Giants at bay. With a 2-game cushion with 2 to play, Cowboys have essentially put themselves in the driver's seat to not only clinch the NFC East, but clinch the number 1 seed in the NFC playoffs. With the loss, the Buccaneers dropped to 8-6. It's not all dire straits for them, but like I said before, if the Redskins can win, all of a sudden now the Bucs are on the outside looking in, and they don't control the outcome of their season. And it also puts a damper on their chances to win the NFC South division, with the Falcons winning, going to 9-5, and the Bucs now dropping to 8-6. They're a full game back with 2 to play, and they do not own the tiebreaker over the Falcons. So they would, in fact, need 2 losses and 2 Buc wins in order to get that division now, instead of just 1 loss by the Falcons and a win by the Bucs. So that's slipping away from them. But more importantly, they need a loss by the Redskins to secure at least the 6th seed for another week in the NFC playoffs. So we'll see what happens there as the Bucs don't get it done 26-20 against the Dallas Cowboys. If it happens in the National Football League, whether big or small, we cover it all here on Sunday Night Football Overtime. Cowboys get it done 26-20. Bucs drop to 8-6. Cowboys move to 12-2. Remember, we're changing the game 1 live feed at a time. I will see you guys maybe later, maybe not. We'll see. Hopefully, I'm able to fight off sleep, get a couple of breakdowns done, and then hit the sack. Got some time. It's 12:30. Feeling good. See what I can do. I'll see you guys a little bit later on, whether it's later on in the morning or tomorrow. We'll see what happens, or later on today, whatever. Either way, I'll see you guys. Have a good one. Thanks for watching. Take care.
Broncos won the Super Bowl when Peyton Manning retired. 49ers won 5 games and Tom Sula got fired. RG's in Cleveland and my Rams hit the West Coast. Be sleepless in Seattle, cause that 12-man ain't beast mode. Oh yeah, I knew it was something I forgot to mention. Yeah, old Tom Brady about to get that suspension. Yeah, I know the Pats fans probably think that's whack. Yeah, but at the end of the day, your balls was flat. It's that time again. It's that time again to go hard in the offseason, cause we trying to win. We gon' go so hard, we don't take no days off. Hopefully one day it's all gone